Screams tore through the zoo as a massive lion broke free from its cage. People ran for their lives. Guards raised their guns. But in the middle of the chaos, one old woman stood still. No fear. No movement. What happened next stunned everyone. It was supposed to be an ordinary afternoon at the city zoo. The sun hung gently above the trees, casting warm light over winding paths and iron fences. Children laughed as they ran ahead of their parents. Couples strolled slowly, ice cream melting in their hands. Cameras clicked. For a moment, everything felt safe. Near the lion enclosure, a crowd had gathered. The great animal lay lazily behind thick metal bars, his golden mane glowing in the sunlight. He looked calm. Powerful, yes, but contained. Just another attraction. Then came the sound. A sharp metallic snap cut through the air. At first, no one understood what it meant. A few people turned their heads. A zookeeper froze mid-step. The lion lifted his head. The lock on the enclosure gate failed. With a deep, rumbling growl, the lion rose to his full height. Muscles tightened beneath his fur as the heavy gate creaked open, slowly, helplessly. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Then the lion stepped out. Alarms exploded into life. Screams followed instantly. The PSF, all afternoon shattered in seconds, replaced by pure terror. What had been a place of wonder had become a nightmare no one was prepared for. People screamed and ran without thinking, pushing past one another in blind panic. Parents grabbed their children, lifting them into their arms as strollers toppled over. Phones fell to the ground, bags were abandoned, and footsteps echoed wildly against the stone paths. The lion moved forward, slow but deliberate. Each step felt heavy, powerful, unstoppable. His claws scraped against the pavement as his tail lashed behind him. Every instinct in the crowd screamed danger. Security guards shouted orders, their voices cracking through the alarms. Move. Get back. Clear the area. But fear made people deaf. Some froze. Others tripped and fell, scrambling to get back up as the crowd surged past them. From the far gate, armed officers rushed in, weapons raised, hearts pounding. They spread out quickly, trying to form a line, trying not to provoke the animal. Sweat ran down their faces as they tracked every movement. The lion's eyes scanned the fleeing crowd, calm yet terrifying. He was no longer a spectacle behind bars. He was free. Within seconds, the zoo transformed into a battlefield of fear, where survival mattered more than rules, more than reason, and no one noticed the one person who didn't run. In that confusion, fate quietly positioned itself, waiting to reveal a moment that would silence everyone forever watching helplessly. In the middle of the chaos, someone stood completely still. She was small and hunched, her back curved by age, her hands resting on a worn wooden cane. A pale cardigan hung loosely over her shoulders, and a faded floral skirt brushed against her knees. While everyone else ran, she didn't take a single step. Guards shouted at her from a distance, waving their arms, screaming for her to move. She didn't respond. Not because she couldn't hear them, but because her eyes were locked on the lion. There was no panic on her face, no scream caught in her throat, only a strange calm, as if she had been waiting for this moment without knowing it. People hiding behind fences noticed her and gasped. Some covered their mouths. Others turned away, unable to watch what they believed was about to happen. The lion slowed. His massive head lowered slightly as his gaze fixed on the old woman. His steps became quieter, more cautious. The air between them felt heavy, charged with something no one could explain. She tightened her grip on the cane, not in fear, but in resolve, and leaned forward just enough to meet his eyes. In that silent space, something ancient stirred, and the world seemed to hold its breath, afraid to interrupt whatever was unfolding next. The lion stepped closer. Each movement was slow, deliberate, terrifying. His massive paws pressed against the stone path, claws clicking softly with every step. His breathing was deep and steady, filling the space between them like thunder trapped in a chest. The old woman did not move. Behind her, armed guards raised their weapons, fingers tightening around triggers. One wrong move, one sudden sound, and they would fire. Sweat ran down their temples. Time stretched painfully thin. The crowd watched from behind fences and trees, frozen in disbelief. Some whispered prayers. Others closed their eyes, unable to bear what they thought they were about to witness. The The lion stopped less than a few feet away. His golden eyes searched her face, studying every wrinkle, every breath. The old woman's hands trembled slightly, but she lifted her chin. Her lips moved. She whispered something no one else could hear. Not a scream, not a plea, a name. The lion's ears twitched. His body tensed for a heartbeat that felt endless. The air seemed to vibrate with danger, with expectation, with the fragile line between life and death. Weapons stayed raised. No one breathed. And then something changed. The lion exhaled slowly. His shoulders lowered. The tension in his body softened, just enough to confuse everyone watching. Fear began to mix with disbelief, as the moment they had dreaded took an impossible turn right before their eyes. The lion lowered his head. A collective gasp swept through the crowd. Guards hesitated, unsure if this was a trick or a miracle unfolding before them. The massive animal that had moments ago inspired terror now stood still, almost gentle. The old woman let out a shaky breath. Years earlier, long before the zoo crowds, before the iron bars, she had known him. Not as a beast, but as a cub. Weak, injured, abandoned after poachers killed his mother. She had been a caretaker then, volunteering at a wildlife rescue far from the city. She remembered the nights she stayed awake feeding him with trembling hands. The way he used to curl beside her boots for warmth. The soft sound he made whenever he recognized her voice. Time had passed. Life had moved on. The cub had grown into a lion, and the lion had been transferred to the zoo. She never expected to see him again. But he remembered. The scent, the voice, the bond. The lion stepped closer, then slowly sat down at her feet, his tail resting against the ground. No roar, no rage, just recognition. Silence fell over the zoo. In that moment, everyone understood something extraordinary. Some connections are stronger than fear, stronger than time, and even stronger than nature itself. Slowly, carefully, the guards lowered their weapons. Zoo staff moved in with quiet coordination, guiding the lion back towards safety without resistance. He obeyed calmly, glancing back only once, his eyes meeting the old woman's as if in silent farewell. She was escorted away, unharmed, her cane tapping softly against the ground. Medics checked her, reporters rushed forward, and the story spread across the world within hours. Headlines called it a miracle. Experts called it impossible. But the old woman said nothing. She only smiled. That day, the zoo repaired its fences. Protocols were rewritten. But something deeper lingered in the hearts of those who witnessed it. Fear had ruled the moment, until compassion stepped forward. Sometimes, what truly stops danger isn't strength or weapons, but memory, kindness, and a bond the world chooses to forget. And for everyone who was there, one truth became impossible to ignore. Not every miracle roars. Some arrive quietly, on four paws, and remember your name.